Hi everyone, thanks for coming back and joining me. Sorry, I forgot to turn on my light there. There we go, that'll help. I didn't make as many videos last week while I was in Dallas. To be honest, I was actually exhausted and I had homework to do every night. So I was trying to prepare myself for the next day. It was a really intense workshop, a lot of fun, made a couple really nice friends, and had a blast. So tonight's look is actually a look that my daughter-in-law Diana sent me. So she wanted to know how to get this look, and she felt it was actually a no makeup look. She's actually wearing quite a bit more makeup than you may think, but it's all about blending. So we're gonna blend together seamlessly so that we can get this look. However, I am not the same skin tone as the girl in the video. So tonight we're going to be using some different products. I'm going to pull my hair back and show you how I was able to do this. So actually my arms I've already done and coated my arms. So my arms look pretty dewy and glowy. You can see if I pull my strap a little bit, it's a little red, but you can actually see the difference in the color. So in order to bronze my skin up a little bit, I'm going to use our Liquid Sunshine. And this is the old packaging. The new packaging still comes in the white containers. So let me get a little bit out. And you can see I'm not using a whole ton of product. I'm going to rub it between my fingers. It's going to look dark, so I first put it on my face. Come down and do my neck. I'm just going to start rubbing that in. And what's really nice about this product is it has no self-tanner in it. It's actually all makeup. So it will wash off, but it lasts really well. I guess I better go over my ears just a little bit since they're not so tan. And I'm going to take a little bit more and come down on my neck area. So this would be great if you wanted to go out at night and just felt you wanted to look a little bit more bronzed up. Again, it washes off. And I can see I need to put a little bit down on my chest. So I've actually worn this in the summer when it's hot and sweaty, being able to cross my legs, not have anything transfer. If I was wearing something white, I probably would not use this. But other than that, absolutely, it's a great product. So now what I'm going to do is take my favorite Cone Make-Offs. Hi Brenda, how are you? And I'm just giving my skin just a minute to let that settle in. I'm going to start on my eyes as I usually do. So again, you can see this is makeup, so it's coming right off on my hands with the make-off. So if I was going to do this to go out, what I would do is put it on, let it dry everywhere, and then come back with a cotton pad to do the back of my hands, because now you can see the back of my hands are light and the rest of me is tanned up. So again, a super product to be able to use. Set those down there. So now I'm starting off with a nice tanned look. And we're going to start with the eyes. So I'm going to go in and use my Limelight like usual. But since I was in Dallas last week, I took a workshop with Terry Tomlinson, and I actually, a lot of you may or may not know this, but I love makeup. I'd say 95 to 98% of the makeup that I own and use is professional makeup. I'm going to just put a little bit on my lid to try to balance the color on my lids out a little bit too. So right now with the tan shade on, this is probably fairly close. I might use this as a highlighter. But as I said, I love makeup. always test any new products that I may get on myself before they make it into my professional makeup kit. It's a beef I've always had. I like to see how the product's working. Oh, I can see. I need to blend that bronze right around my nose. So that's something you definitely want to do if you're using the bronze color. Let me just take a look in my mirror over here. That's better. Pretty much blended everywhere. Wipe my finger off. So we're going to be using a combination of Limelight, some of Terry's products tonight. I have out some Kevin Aquan, Senna brow product and lip product. And again, these may not be names that you're all familiar with, but I want to let you know that they are all professional products, as well as the Limelight. So we're gonna do a few things. So again, I'm a makeup junkie, so I have a little bit of everything everywhere. So the look, and I'm going to combine some of the shadows. I do love the Limelight shadows. They're extremely pigmented. And I'm thinking that she probably has a brown under her eyes, and on the lid, probably a little bit of bronze. The bronzes that I think I'm going to use tonight, let me hold up my Limelight palette. So I'm going to start like I usually do with my taupe color, and then I'm going to go in with the chocolate color. This is our bronze, the Limelight bronze. It's a little bit cooler than what I wanted. So I'm going to take, and I have my colors from Terry Tomlinson. She has everything milled and made in Paris. So I think I'm going to take this color here. It's a little bit warmer, and put that on the lid. So like I said, we're going to be doing a lot of blending tonight. So I'm going to pick up my handy mirror. I'm first going to start actually with the One Night Stand, which is the color you've all seen me do. Now the one thing that I did learn also in the workshop, so I'm going to be bringing some pieces of that into the video tonight. I know I have hooded lids. They're aging, so as I'm aging, the skin is starting to drop. But apparently what I didn't realize is I actually have deep set eyes, and that's why when I tip my head back you can see my crease right in here, particularly on this eye. This one has dropped down a little bit more, so it's not as visible. So again, we're going to be playing with some methods that I learned last week. Always starting where I want the most pigment, and I learned some new things last week, so I'm going to keep playing with it. So we want to bring more focus to the center, to the color, the iris of the eye. So right now, that's actually where I'm going to put the darkest color. And then I'm going to start sweeping back and forth. Still working from lightest to darkest. And this eye, I have to actually just cheat it a little bit to get it in that spot that I need. So I've got to kind of push that skin away a little bit. And the best thing to do, I'm actually looking above, might look like I'm looking right in the camera, but I have a little bit of my mirror just above my phone. And I'm going to look ahead now. I want to make sure that when I look straight on, that's where it is. I'm not really worried about the crease. I'm not worried about the hood. I'm not worried about anything there. I want to make sure that when my eyes are open, you've all heard me say this before, that I can actually see where a crease would be. So this one I'm going to bring up just a smidge higher. There we go. I'm going to go in with a little bit of the darker color, our taupe for the best. And again, I'm going to start right over the center of the eye. And what I'm actually doing is using a much lighter touch. So I want to deposit some makeup on there. I want to create it looking like a shadow, but I don't want it to have so much pigment that I'm going to have a hard time blending it away. And I'm trying not to get the reflection from my mirror. So this one, again, I've got to pick up a little higher. Okay. Now I'm going to go in with what we call our magic eraser brush. And I'm going to start lightly buffing and blending. You can see not a lot of my eye looks like it's moving. It's because I'm doing a nice light movement here. And we want to blend this because the look on the model looks almost as if she's not wearing a lot of makeup. Now, what I am going to do, set this one mirror down, so I'm going to take a tissue and I'm just going to keep wiping any of that makeup off. I don't want to put any extra product on. I just want to keep moving that around. And I'm going to keep blending it until it looks as though there's nothing there but a shadow. Last week when I was in Dallas, we did this all day. It was great practice. So again, I am wiping off my brush. And you can see I'm really concentrating a little bit more on the outer and the inner. Just a little bit above the top. And I'm going to show you. Now this one I think I've come up a little bit higher, so I'm going to grab a Q-tip. Okay, and what I can do is I'm actually sweeping, I'm going to press that down just a little bit. There we go. So now when I look straight on at the mirror, they look pretty even. So now what I think I'm going to do is go into that bronze color. I'm going to pick some up on my angled brush here, and I'm going to pack or pat that color right on the lid. So I'm not sweeping. Oh, this is the first time I've used this color. It's really pretty. Not as cool as the other colors we're using, since we're going with a nice bronzy look. I want to keep everything bronzed up. And I'm covering the entire lid with that. So let me take a look. Hi Jackie, how are you? Take a look in my mirror here. Okay. Now, I am going to go back into, I'm just trying to figure out where to set this down. I'm going to go back into my Limelight palette again. And with the brownie points, I'm going to pick a little bit of product up, and I'm actually tapping it off, and I am going to start. You can see I just picked up a tiny little product. What I did today is I'm flipping the angled brush upside down so I can really place that right where I want it. And I should have almost enough product to get the other eye done. Oh, just shy, just a smidgen. So I'm just going to touch my palette and pick some of that up. Come just to the outer edge of the crease. And now we're going to go back to our blending again. So this outer edge I still want to blend. I'm going to come in and blend some more. Blend, blend, blend. I'm going to wipe off my brush again. Come back to the other eye and still blend away. Again, I'm wiping off my brush on my tissue. And what I'm doing is I'm going to try to keep the eye a little more round and keep that shadow pressed in. So now, oh, I have to find my angled brush. Here it is. So I'm going to take a little bit of that color and come under. So I'm hoping I can stay in focus here with you. And I'm pressing that just under my lashes on the lower lash line. And this is just eyeshadow. So I'm going to blend that a little bit. With the same brush that I'm using, I'm going to wipe off the product. I don't want this to be a real harsh line tonight. We're going to keep it nice and soft. I'm going to go back in and we'll do the same thing on the other eye. And I think I'm going to have to look this way a little. And again, just a little bit of shadow that I'm using as my liner underneath the lash line tonight. I'm going to wipe off my brush again. I'm trying to get into the best position so I can see here. And I'm going to lift my lids a little bit so I can bring this up. And on the other side. Okay. Now, again, I've come a little bit too far down here, so I'm going to take my little Q-tip and just push it back up. Okay, let's take a look. I think I'm going to put a little bit of the darker color again, so I'm literally just touching my palette. I'm going to keep it a little bit darker down towards the lash line. And I'm pulling it in just a little bit so that it's over the colored part of my eye. And I'm going to come into, I think, this softer, the taper blender brush. So I can blend that a little bit without making it so much of an erase mark. Okay, that's starting to look pretty good. I can see if I look above here, I want to take just a little bit of this off here. And I'm not putting anything underneath my brow bone tonight. That's also a new trend, is to keep it natural and skin tone looking. So that's what I'm going to do tonight. Okay, so we're going to come in and our wonderful, the limelight, our pen liner is on back order right now, and I am getting pretty low, so I'm hoping I can get my line done here. They should be back in on March 9th, and shipping then. So I'm going to keep this line nice and thin. And what I'm going to do tonight is more of, oh, Jackie, the trip went well. I had such a good time. I'm going to do what I learned is called wedge. So it's not actually going to be so much of a wing. I'm going to come out to the outer edge of my eye. So from here, I'm going to draw a line up where I want this to begin. And since I can do this with the pen, I'm going to make a little mark right there. So that's where I want it to start. You can see when I close, it looks like quite a big mark. And I'm going to pull over. I'm going to fill this in here. And I think I'm going to have to get my bigger mirror here. Come over and connect it. So it's not so much of a wing, but more of a wedge shape. And now, with my eye open, is really how I want to look at it, make sure it's matched up. You know, if I wanted to, I can make just that little tail there. But I'm pulling it straight down. Okay, so that's one eye done. the next eye, I'm going to do what we call a precision line, so I'm going to keep it, again, nice and close to my lash line. Okay, and again, straight up from the outer edge, I'm going to make my little dot there, which I can do with this liner pen. I'm going to come from the top there and pull over. Now you can see the shape a little bit better, but we need to fill this in. I'm going to check in my mirror again. I keep trying to do a better job of keeping my mirror out of your way. So from one eye to the next, I think I did a better job on this side getting the actual wedge shape. That's because I got carried away over here and decided to make it more of a wing, a cat wing. So let's try to even that up a little bit. There we go. So this was the shape that they would have done in the early 60s before they really started winging it. So you can see it still is leaving my eye nice and open. And this week I've actually been wearing this a lot more, playing with a lot of the new practices that I learned. Okay, so liner on. Let's go in and do foundation. So since this is closer to the color, and sorry I'm getting real pink, it's getting warm in my bathroom here. My Shinto is going to be a pretty close match here. But I'm going to do something a little different tonight with it. I'm going to take some of it on my spatula, on the back of my hand to start warming it up. And I think that's going to be a pretty good match. I'm going to take a little bit of my liquid foundation though. So I can do this with the wax base because this liquid foundation is maybe just a hint darker. And I'm just mixing that on the back of my hand. Oh, thanks, Jackie. I really like the wedge shape too. At first it was a little harder for me to learn since I'm used to pulling it all the way out. And then once I got it, I really like it. Okay, my foundation brush. I'm going to come in with that. Yeah, that's not, oh, it's a little bit lighter than the tan color that I put on. So I think we're going to stay mostly towards the center of the face, and I'm just going to buff it just extremely lightly towards the outer side. But you can see it's done a nice job in covering up some of that redness. Boy, I can't wait for summer to get here. I sat outside most of the summer last year. I love the way I look with a little bit of a tan. Actually, who am I kidding? I had a lot of a tan last summer. So again, I'm just very lightly bringing this product up. I tend not to wear as much foundation in summer when I have a tan. And I'm finding actually with bronzing my skin up a little bit with our liquid sunshine that I don't need to put as much product on either. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm starting to lose a little bit of that bronzy glow. So I think what I'm going to do is take literally a drop. That's probably actually too much of our liquid sunshine on the back of my hand. I'm going to mix that with the foundation a little bit. And come back in. Oh, that's good. Much better. Makeup is always about playing. And different times of year, especially if we're outside, we're tanning, we're getting a little more sun. It's all about adjusting your makeup. So you can see by just using a couple products, I've been able to adjust to match up to the color. So let's see how we're doing here. I still think I want just a tad more of that on this cheek. There we go. And I'm just making sure that's nicely blended. Pulling down my neck. I'm going to come back in and hit my ears a little bit more. Okay. So now that I have the bronze color on the back of my hand, I really need to take my makeup wipe and swipe that away. Okay, so that's done. So let's go to brows. So brows, I also learned a few more things. So I have actually pulled up in here where I was tweezing. I was actually letting that go down a little too far, and by picking it up a little bit, it's actually helped open up my eye a little bit. But this one, I always like this brow more, and probably because it has a little bit of more of a peak here. So I'm going to have to make a peak right here. And as you all saw me do from Dallas, I'm going to bring a little bit of pencil tonight. And I'm going to mix that with some powder. So I'm coming straight up. I'm going the same direction. Whoop. There we go. Just noticed something there. I'm going to go the same direction that my hair grows. So I'm taking very, very tiny little strokes. I'm still a little sparse here, so this I'm pulling a little further. So this one, you can see I'm coming pretty much straight up here. And now what I want to do, this outside edge is a little, has less hair. So I'm going to create little, tiny little brush strokes, or hair strokes actually. Again, still going the same shape, same direction the hair grows. So now you can see I've gotten a little bit of that peak there. And if I look up, I can see I need a little bit more here. There we go. Okay. As we keep working on that, I'm going to take my mascara like I usually do and pop it down, keep it next to my chest so it's going to warm up. And this brow, I still need a little help in the front. Oop, there's my mirror again. But it's more up towards the top here that I'm sparse. So I'm going very, very lightly with the pencil on this brow. This one does not need quite as much help. Okay, it's looking pretty good. So I'm going to come back in and I'm going to go back into the lighter or one night sand color. And I'm going to flip my brush upside down, and again, still pushing the hairs, my brush stroke I should say, the same way that the hairs grow. Picking a little more product, now my hairs start to grow this way. And I'm going to brush the product through. Again, coming straight up with the way the brow grows. I like to keep it a little bit lighter in the center, so whatever's left over, I'm just coming through there. And just tiny, tiny little bit of product is all I have in my brush here. And back out towards the edge. Okay. So, learned another thing about contouring. And I could use our toe for the best, but I actually have, since I went a little bit darker, I want a little bit of a darker color. So I'm going to use my Kevin Aucoin. This is the Sculptor powder in the shade medium. And I'm going to take my tapered brush and come in. So with contouring, again, you don't want it to be your bronzer color. You want it to actually mimic a shadow. So basically where this little knobby part of the ear is, you generally want to start from the top here, pull down, whatever's left over, I'm going to bring up and around. So I've also learned that I have an oval face. I always thought I had a very round face because I have very fat, puffy cheeks. And that's not the case. So I'm going to bring that up and sweep whatever's left on the brush. Up, up. I'm going to come and do the other side, and again I'm picking up just a really small amount of product. I'm trying to pull my hair back so you can actually see where I'm placing this. And again, it's a very light touch, and up. And that's just going to add a little more shape and dimension. Now, as I'm aging, again, as many of you may know, I'm 53, so things are starting to drop here a little bit. So I'm not going to come under the whole jawline. I'm going to come where I have that little skin that's starting to sag. So over here you can see it. And I'm going to put whatever's left from the contour just under there. Again, I'm trying to create a shadow to get rid of that. So that's contouring done. Nice and simple and easy. I am going to come back in to my concealer palette. This is our color number 3, the salmon color. I still have a little bit of darkness here. So I want to tap, tap, tap in there and get rid of that. Now, the other thing that you may have seen me do in other videos is come straight down with concealer and up. So the new makeup trend, or I should say the makeup trend right now, is not to do that, and really only to conceal where we need it. So you can see I'm just pressing that into the skin. And now what I'm going to do, oh, where did I put that foundation? Since I think it's a pretty good match for me. I'm going to take that liquid foundation again. And where I have the depression here, I want to make that a little bit lighter. So I'm going to check this and see if I need to come in with a bit of a lighter color now that I'm tanner. Okay, so that's not so bad. I'm going to put some on the other side. So just right where that depression is. And now I'm going to wipe my brush off a little bit again. And I'm going to come in with our concealer too, because I want to lighten that up a little bit. There we go. So you can see I'm not using as much concealer. Now when I lift my head up, hopefully you can see how this hollow is starting to disappear. So when we take photographs, a lot of times the light's coming from up above. I have lights in front of me and some up above. So it's about getting rid of that shadow. And I found when I actually took a selfie of myself this morning and I did this, it really got rid of any of the depression there. I'm still going to take it a little bit and lift it towards the outer edge. Again, it's still about lifting. And I'm going with a very, very light stroke again, just to make sure that's all blended in. And that's starting to look pretty good. So again, you can see if I have my head down, you'll see the depression here. But as soon as I pick it up, that goes away just by having it a little bit lighter here. I could actually do that in through here if I wanted also. And you can see I'm really just keeping it right where that fold is, so I'm not smushing it all over the face. Okay. And I feel like I'm pretty bronzed up already, but why not? I'm going to add a little bit more of our bronzer and a touch of our blush. Hi Eve, how are you? So bronzer, again, I'm going to take just a really, really small amount. And I'm going to keep it kind of high, right around where the sun would hit. And a nice light touch here. A little bit again over the nose. And now I'm going to go in with the blush. So I am literally just touching my palette here. You can see the color on here. I'm using the same brush. And what I want to do is keep that blush up a little bit higher, almost to make it like I'm looking a little flushed. So again, we're going for a nice natural look here. But you can see how very lightly I'm touching my skin with that blush. So now it's just looking like I have a little bit of life in my skin. So I like that. The other thing, I know what I wanted to show you all tonight. Let me grab, I'm just going to make it simple. So this is actually my liquid foundation, but a shade lighter. This is from Terry again. But I think it's a little too light even to do a highlight, so I think I'm going to mix it with a little bit of the darker color. And let's see. Again, right now, this time, it's all about being a mixologist because I've changed my color by putting on my liquid sunshine. Now, what I want to do also is I'm going to take just a drop of our Skin Therapist. I'm going to probably do that. There we go, off to the side. So this is what I'm actually going to use as my highlighter. So I'm using about a shade or two lighter than what I've made my skin right now, along with a moisturizer, which is going to give it a great dewy look. And I'm coming up on the top of my cheekbone, so you can actually see it here. So again, by keeping that up on the top of the cheekbone, I'm going to grab my other brush. And again, I'm going to take some of that product off and just press that in. So this is going to give it a nice natural looking highlight without any shimmer. I think when I added the liquid sunshine, it gives me enough of a shimmer all on its own. And you can see how lightly, again, I'm just blending. Okay, so let me take a look now. Yeah, so you can see this looks like it's a nice highlighted area, and that's just by keeping it a little moist and mixing a lighter color into it. And I almost forgot, I want to put a little bit of powder tonight, so I'm going to use a much smaller brush since I've just highlighted here, and I'm going to go into our translucent powder, and I'm really just going to press it just right here where I need it. The rest of the skin we're going to leave nice and dewy. I'm going to come right around my nose here. Okay, so that's it for the skin. Diana, you're generally this color to begin with, so I wish I had your coloring all the time. But you can see how easy it was to bronze myself up. All right, now we're going to go back in. I'm going to take my mascara. So now it's been nice and warm. I'm going to wipe any little bits off the edge. Oh, but I wanted to show you one more thing. So a few of you have asked why and when I curl my lashes. So I learned something a little different also with curling my lashes now. So I'm going to go in and curl like I always do. So I'm going to look straight ahead and down. I'm going to come in. I'm going to get a little closer to my eye, and I'm going to squeeze 1, 2, 3 times. Now, to get that lift, I'm going to, and this may look really weird to you guys, but I'm going to raise that up 1, 2, 3 more times. Now when I let go, I'm hoping you can see how it's actually curled and lifted the lashes. So again, I'm going to come from the other side, curl straight on like I usually did, and without pinching real hard, now I'm going to lift up. This was a little strange when I first started doing this, but I found that it makes a huge difference. So you're going to see as I'm putting on my mascara. There's just a lot of little tips and tricks that I learned last week with Terry, which I think really made a huge difference. So you can see already how much, you see how much that's actually lifting my lashes. I'm still going to do my same old trick. The uptown, still definitely the downtown. You always want to coat the back of your lashes. Come back up a town again and cross down. So I want to pull the lashes out towards the outer edge of my eye and in towards my nose. And what I'm doing right now is just pulling up again so I can really get some of those extra tiny little fibers. And since we did the lower, I'm going to put a little bit of mascara here. So again, I'm still starting on the tips to place some of the mascara there, and now I'm coming down to the base, wiggling just a little bit. And I'm going to pull, come downtown, back uptown, and crosstown. Went towards the center of my nose and out towards the outer edge. And I think I'm going to do just one more coat. No lashes tonight. Okay, so now I think you're able to see how I was able to, actually by curling and lifting those lashes a little bit more, and I'm going to see if we can see the difference now. So now if I pull my strap, you can actually see where I have that liquid sunshine, so it almost looks like a very natural tan. So today I'm going to play a little bit with my Senna lipstick, and this is in the color Feline, and this is very similar to the look that the model in my photo had on. It's more of a peachy nude color. And for me it has just enough peach. Now what I'm going to do is, I don't have a lip liner, I don't think that's quite as nude. Let me just take a look here. I think I left my liner downstairs. Yeah, I did. So you're going to be able to see this. It's a little more obvious, which might make a little more sense. So what I learned is that you should always do your lipstick first, then you can come back in with your lip liner. And by doing that, I'm able to take, so I have some lipstick here, I need to push it to the outside a little bit more. And I'm going to push it with that lip liner. and I'm keeping it nice and neutral. Okay, so that's the upper. Now I'm going to come down and do the lower. So what I'm doing on the lower is I'm starting actually up a little higher and trying to pull it down. But now since this pencil is not as nude as the lipstick, I'm going to take that and just run it over the lip a little bit. There we go. So what it did is it actually deposited a little bit of my lipstick on the pencil, so I'm going to wipe that off. But it helped me really get into the outer edge and push it without having a harsh line and blending everything in together. So I'm going to take a squirt of my setting spray. Oh, tonight that feels so good since I'm a little warm in here. And so let's take a look. So to me, that is a really awesome no makeup look. You saw it took me a while, so definitely sometimes these looks take a little bit longer. And let's pull up the photo and compare now. Okay, so the lip color I think is pretty similar here. The eyes, the shape, if I look straight on, looks pretty similar. Doesn't look like I'm wearing a ton of makeup. Skin is fresh and dewy, nice and clean, and bronzed up again. So tonight I'm going to say the star of the show, we've got two things going. I think the nice nude lipstick, which I don't normally wear, but having a little more color with the tan, I think it's really helped that. But definitely the star of the show tonight is my Alcone, Limelight by Alcone, our Liquid Sunshine. So I was able to bronze that up, and when I wash my face before I go to bed tonight, this will all wash off, make it nice and simple. But I'm going to show you, because I had somebody one time asked me about this. So you can see I have it here on my arm. You can see it's nice and glowy. I'm going to take my fingers, I'm going to really rub. No transferring. That's one of the things I love about it. So I wasn't super careful, so I didn't blend it in real good around my elbow tonight, but I was just doing it for purposes here. So if I was normally going to wear this out, I would definitely blend it in a little bit, basically by rubbing almost as though you were doing your own moisturizer. So thank you so much for joining me again. Please, if any of you would like to share this. Tonight, not all the products I used I have for sale, so Limelight by Alcone products, you can all purchase from me. They're terrific products. And Eve, I hope you're enjoying yours. I have to write to you to see how you're liking the new products. And some of the other ones are just professional products that I've been able to buy either through the Alcone store, or when I was into Terry's class, she had some available. Senna, I think you all know I worked and helped out at the makeup show this September, so I had some of these. Actually, this was a new color for me because I thought this would look amazing with a tan. So this color I actually picked up. Terry does retail some of the other professional brands also. So I am hoping tomorrow night I'm going to do a smoky eye, and I'm going to do the way that I learned in class, which is a true proper smoky eye. Dark, very dark on the lid, fading up and out to almost nothing, like a fire, like a smoke would at the top. So I'm going to show you all how to do that, and I'm very sad that I'm going to have to take off my bronze glow. I might have to do this more frequently as I'm starting to miss the sun. So I hope you all join me tomorrow night. Thank you again for joining, and I hope to see you all soon.